Thanks so much for tuning in. Today's video is a Dollar Tree DIY Easter decor video, but it's also extra fun because it is a collaboration with Shannon from The Daily DIYer, whose channel I love.
Hi everyone, my name is Shannon. I have a DIY YouTube channel called The Daily DIYer, where I bring you new tutorials, new DIYs, and new inspiration every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And just like Jay, I love to do Dollar Tree projects. But not only that, you'll also get to see farmhouse-inspired decor, hauls, home renovations, and so much more. I hope you will jump over to my channel after you're finished watching Jay's amazing tutorial here, as I also have 3 Dollar Tree Easter DIYs for you as well.
So be sure to check out her video and her channel. All the links will be in my description. Make sure you show her some love. And before we get into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Once you hit subscribe, we instantly become best friends.
Did we just become best friends? Yup!
Let's go ahead and get started. For my first tutorial, I'm going to be using a stretched canvas from Dollar Tree, and this is a 6x8, but you can use whatever size you want. And I'm going to remove the staples. To make this faster and easier, I'm going to use a upholstery staple remover that I purchased at Lowe's. A regular staple remover, like the ones that you get at the dollar store or Staples, doesn't really work for this because it will bend. These are in pretty tight, but you can use whatever you want. So once I remove the inside, you can see the wood is really nice on one side and has these staple marks on the other. And I'm just going to cut down the actual canvas part so that it fits one side of my little wood frame. So I'm going to set this to the side, and now I'm going to work on giving this a little handle, and for that I'm going to use a wood spoon from Dollar Tree or wood spatula. I'm going to line it up and I'm going to make my marking. So I'm going to put my canvas on top, and it's not going to be perfectly centered because this in itself isn't perfectly centered, but I'm going to try my best just to give it a little detail, make it look a little different. To cut this down, I highly recommend using power tools. I actually ended up using this little saw that I got at Michael's, and it sucks really bad. Even with the little miter box, it was better to use it without. So I took my time, made sure my fingers were nowhere near, made the indentation, and then kept on going until I finally got through. So if you have power tools, this will definitely be so much faster and more precise. After an eternity of sawing down, I finally managed to get this off, and with a sanding sponge, I'm just sanding down the bottom. If you are using a miter saw or whatever you have at home, you won't have to sand as much, but I did go ahead and sand the entire piece so that the finish can actually match the canvas. So I made sure that it fit nicely, and then I just kept on sanding until it was somewhat straight. I wasn't going for perfect here. But once I finished, I was still left with a spoon, so you can go ahead and sand that down and reuse it for another project, whatever you want. Actually, this is a spatula, not a spoon. I keep saying that, and I'm sorry. Now I'm going to attach my little top piece to the canvas using Gorilla Wood Glue. You can use whatever glue you want. I just do not recommend hot glue for wood projects because it just doesn't last and it creates bulk, so it doesn't really fit nicely. I added a generous amount and placed it exactly where I wanted. If you have any type of clamps or anything that you can add weight to where it's pushed up against that canvas, go ahead and add that, but make sure that it dries really well before moving on. While that dries, I'm going to work on my image, and I got these decals at Dollar Tree. I think they're so cute, and the bunny is so perfect for Easter. So I just removed the decal and added it directly onto that canvas paper. You can actually paint it white so that it matches the decal. I didn't really mind the look of it, so I just placed the decals directly on top of that. You can also seal it in with Mod Podge, and now that this is completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and attach it using hot glue. So I'm going to make sure that it is completely centered and then apply it using my atrocious glue gun, which I know I need to clean. For some added detail, I used these 97-cent picks from Walmart. They are little lavender picks, and I use them throughout a lot of tutorials. I just added a little garland up top just to give it some more details and to kind of mask the top. And when I was done, bam, I had this beautiful little bunny. For the second tutorial, I'm going to use this little fluffy thing from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to break apart the seam using this seam ripper. I got it at Walmart for like $1, and it also helps the process go by a lot faster. Mine is actually broken. It's supposed to look like a hook, which makes it even easier to rip through seams. So once I ripped through all of the seams and was finished and detached both pieces, I used my Dollar Tree poster board that I had left over from my scale videos, and I decided to give it a hard inside. Now, you can use whatever you want. You can use cardboard or foam board, but I had this left over and this was so much easier to cut through. So basically what I did was I took my leftover pieces, these come in a pack of 5, and I added Mod Podge to each piece to basically attach them. The Mod Podge is also from Dollar Tree, but like I said, if you have cardboard at home, you can go ahead and use that. But I just wanted to use this since I knew it was so much easier to use scissors with this than with cardboard. So once I had a nice layer of these poster boards lined up, while they were still wet, I traced my outline. And even though I'm tracing right where the bunny is, I'm actually going to cut it a little shorter, kind of like you would when you're sewing and you're allowing a seam allowance. So I'm just going to cut in using that as a guide. Now remember, this is still wet, which is why it looks all wrinkly, but once it dries, it is nice and sturdy. I added a nice amount of Mod Podge and covered the entire cutout, and then placed my burlap bunny cutout on top and made sure to smooth out all of the wrinkles. And then I flipped it over and did the same thing to the other side. I really don't care for the printed side, so I'm just going to place that on the back. Now, you're still going to be able to see this, but this is going to be on the back of our planter anyway, so I didn't really mind it at all. For some added detail, I added 2 of the twine carrots from Dollar Tree, and I just hot glued them in place. You don't have to do this, but I really thought it was cute and added a nice touch of color. And then I took one of these plant liners from Dollar Tree, and this is what I'm going to use for the base. I thought it was really cute. You can always add a plate to the bottom if it doesn't sit right. It is up to you. So now I am going to grab my bunny and squish him in there and secure him down using some hot glue. Once he's secured, I added some 97-cent lavender picks from Walmart, but you can add whatever greenery or floral you would like. And when he was completely dry, I had an adorable bunny planter. The next tutorial, I used one of these leftover wood puzzles from Dollar Tree. I used these in my Christmas tutorial, and now they're incomplete, so I'm going to use this as my base. I'm also going to use some popsicle sticks, and I'm going to align them. In total, I'm going to be using 12 long strips. So right now, I'm just taking 6, and I'm lining them up so that I can measure out. So I'm trying to straighten them out as much as possible, and then I'm putting my crate on top and then lining this out. By the way, if you don't want to use a puzzle piece, you can use more popsicles or you can make the base out of Jenga. It's up to you. So now I'm going to do the same thing to complete my 12 pieces. Now that I have my markings, before I cut them down, I'm going to grab 3 of those pieces and I'm going to take a popsicle stick and lengthwise, I'm going to make markings on how long those 3 pieces are. And this is going to be my support, so I'm going to actually make 8 of these. So I'm going to cut them down, so 8 small pieces. And I'm using that one piece as a guide to cut down the other 7. So out of 1 popsicle stick, I can make 2 of these small pieces. And remember, I'm going to need 8 of these small ones in total. So I'm going to cut those down, and then I'm going to start cutting down my long ones. So for my long ones, I'm going to need 12. So on the screen, you're not going to see 12. I didn't realize that I had 2 of them tucked away. But once I have everything cut down, what I'm going to have is 8 of the small pieces and 12 of the longer pieces. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my crate, and I decided to put the part with the indentations facing up. And then I'm going to start placing my small pieces on the corners. And this is going to be in an L shape on each corner so that I can make the shape of the crate and be able to add my longer pieces. So as you can see, I'm leaving a gap between each popsicle stick, and for this I am using hot glue because I really don't mind it having bulk. It doesn't need to be perfect since this is going to look like an old crate. And now I'm going to grab this floral foam from Dollar Tree and I'm going to cut it down to try and get it to cover the entire crate. You don't have to do this. You can get the softer foam, which is a lot easier to cut, but I think that this, when it's painted, resembles soil a lot more. So I'm just measuring it out and cutting it, trying to get it to all fit. And even though it has some lines, don't worry, you won't see it once it's painted. I used some toothpicks to help keep it in place, and then with the tip of a brush I made some holes so that my carrots can fit. You're going to want to make the holes before you paint this so that you can paint the inside of the hole as well. And once you have all of the holes that you want, you can go ahead and paint it. I just used a regular black color. You can do black or brown, whatever color you like. And if you feel like the lines are still too harsh, just grab the edge of your brush and kind of smush it down. I did that in some areas and it looked a whole lot better. So this is what it looks like, and now it's time to add these carrots. These come in a pack of 4 from Dollar Tree. This next step is completely optional, but I replaced the stems with this greenery from Walmart. It's 97 cents. I picked off one tiny piece, cut down the stems that it currently had, and then attached it using a little bit of hot glue. Like I said, this is optional, but it's all personal preference, and I really love how it looks with this stem. Then I just added my faux soil, a few carrots, and when I was done, I had this adorable miniature little carrot planter. I really hope that you enjoyed all the tutorials in this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to check out the Daily DIYers videos. She has some great videos coming your way, and all of her links will be in the description. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.